What is up, PCP Army? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. We are back after a 2-week hiatus because of technical malfunctions. Now it is all solved, it is all said and done, and here we are, everybody. Rockin Robbie Live Station, everybody out there in the PCP Army and beyond. Thank you for being here. This is the cool, hip show where we talk about comic books, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We have a lot of plans to get to tonight, lots of things to discuss, including a DC Comics sneak peek. That's right, DC Comics, believe it or not, they got new comics out this week, and I've read them, and I'm going to let you know what I thought about them, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Watch that this afternoon. We're revealing the full-on slate and dates for PCP Action Fest 2021. So freaking excited for that. A little bit of show and tell, top fives, Marvel, not Marvel, DC in the 80s, all that and more tonight on Rockin Robbie Live, though we have so much planned. This show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Get them in. Let's start chatting. I do want to say that you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie if you are so inclined to do so. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, you might as well join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can also support the channel over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patriots right here. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Anyway, we are going to be rocking and rolling tonight. I am Rockin Robbie. And do check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. What's coming up this week, though? It's been a while since we've done this, so we got to get used to this again together. So, what's coming up this week? Well, first of all, let's talk about what's already happened. Gem Mint Collectibles. Check out the latest top 10 comic book video over there. We drop them every Friday morning over at Gem Mint Collectibles. It's been a very fun show. This Thursday night, though, we got Eric Palicki on the show. He is the writer of Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists, and him and a good friend of the show, Joe Corallo, are now crowdfunding on Kickstarter the second volume of Dead Beats, the musical comic book anthology. And it's definitely going to be worth it, and we're very excited to have Eric on the show. PCP Movie Night continues on with Cruise Choice. It's the final Cruise Choice week before we take a quick break for Action Fest, and it's Hammer Time Whole Shoes pick, and it, of course, is Westworld, the original. And Dylan's Horror Show this week will be about Creepazoids and Head of the Family from Full Moon Pictures, but that, of course, is the image from last night's show where we talked about The Hills Have Eyes and The Hills Have Eyes 2, the remakes, and we talked about them with Missing Link, and it was a great show, and I hope that everybody checked that out. We now pause for station identification. Station! And now we are back. So, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. We're going to kick it off with the first 6. Last time we were here, we were going through my Marvel Universe Series 2 trading cards. They're from 1991. Let's continue that. There's Chameleon. Did you know the Chameleon's favorite actor is the late Lon Chaney Sr., who was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces? I did not know that was Chameleon's favorite actor, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Absolutely. Big Lon Chaney fan here. Super Skrull. Look at that great Super Skrull. I think that's Art Adams. No, that's Ron Lim, bro. What you talking about? Anyway, that's a really good Ron Lim Super Skrull. Did you know Super Skrull also possesses strange hypnotic powers, of which not much is yet known? Yeah, they hardly ever actually use that, so that's interesting that they mention that. Next up, Grim Reaper. Of course, we are on the villains, as you can see. By the way, Grim Reaper, durability all the way to the top of the chart, which I guess makes sense, right? Did you know the Grim Reaper is the older brother of Simon Williams, also known as Wonder Man? Yes, I did know that, Marvel Universe trading card. And one of my least favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, Mojo. Every time there's a Mojo issue, I roll my eyes. But did you know the hero known as Longshot was originally one of Mojo's slaves? Yeah. Never mind. Fin Fang Foom, that's a dope Fin Fang Foom right there. Look at that. Is that, before I say anything, it looks like it could be Art Adams. Don't know. They should clearly credit the artist on the back. Maybe they do now. But did you know only the scent of a rare Chinese herb can return Fin Fang Foom to his centuries-spanning slumber? Yes, I did. And look how maxed out some of his stats are. And those are durability, stamina, and strength. I guess he's strength. I mean, is he strong for someone of his size? Is he like more strong than the average dragon his size? Anyway, we were going to wrap it up with Jigsaw from the Punisher world, of course. And did you know Jigsaw was once brainwashed into believing that he was the Punisher by a vigilante group sought to create an army of Punishers? No, I didn't. But that's Mark Bagley, and that's the first 6. So there you go. Speaking of the first 6, be sure to check out Comics with Bueller tomorrow morning for the first 5, and that's going to be on the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. Be sure to check them out. I see Bueller in the chat, so now I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the chat. How is everybody doing? We're going to have a good old time tonight. What you want to talk about? You have a great weekend. It's not like you haven't seen or heard from me in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, we've still been doing shows and doing things here and there, but just no Sunday night Rockin' Robbie Live, and I'm very excited to bring this tradition, this ritual, if you will, back to fruition, right? Oh, my man Reggie, Double G Reggie, what's up? The Reggie says, what's up, PCP fam station? Thank you for the super chat. We really do appreciate it. All right, Reggie, thank you so much for the super chat. You always go above and beyond. You support us over at Patreon. You drop super chats, and you go above and beyond every single time, representing what the PCP Army represents, which is positivity, entertainment, and what else is it? It's insightfulness. How's everybody doing, man? Had a good time, man. Good comics this week. Let's talk about some news. You guys, I want to know, what do you guys think? Are you super excited for Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley to be taking over Hulk in November? Are you sad to see Immortal Hulk end? Are you sad to see that go and be replaced with Donny Cates? Are you a fan of Donny Cates? Do you think this is the book for him? I think it's a great book for him personally. I think it's a little bit rock and roll, especially him and Ryan Ottley. I think they're going to do a great job, and it could be something that will be just as exciting to a lot of fans as the Immortal Hulk run has been, but it should tonally probably be a different book if you really think about it, right? So I want to know what you guys think about it. Da 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 da. Look at Bueller out there. Robbie, what time is the Laker game? That's funny as hell, Trade Paper Dad. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah, the Lakers didn't make it. Taki says, Rom V on Venom. I don't care about Cates. Okay, Rom V on Venom's a big thing. He's co-writing it with Al Ewing, so we'll see how that works. I think Al Ewing is kind of like stepping out to bring in some of the talent that he really probably likes. I know he's friends with Alex Packnadel. They recently did that Immortal Hulk one-shot, Time of Monsters, which I thought was just freaking amazing. So I'm excited for what Rom V is going to be able to do with Venom, because that's another thing. Like, Venom's been sent on this new path. He's like the god of the symbiotes now, right? And what does that mean for his world, his mythos? What does that mean to his relationship with Dylan? And Al Ewing's got the concept down for sure, and I'm excited about that. But Rom V's got the execution. And he knows how to write a script with a lot of punch as far as nuance goes. It can get the subtext matter can just reign supreme when it comes to a Rom V pen script. And Brian Hitch on the artwork, I wouldn't, here's the thing. With either him or Ryan Ottley on Hulk, I would not at all trust that they are going to be doing the majority of the issues. We don't know where Stegman's lying. Maybe Stegman's the alternating artist with Ottley on Hulk. If so, I thought they would have mentioned that. Maybe Donnie and Stegman got something else. Maybe Stegman's doing something else that will be announced with a different writer. Maybe he's going to be writing and drawing something himself. Maybe he's going to jump over to Thor. That's where I think he may likely land. But we'll see. There's still lots of announcements. I am definitely more excited for Rom V on Venom. Venom is a character that I actually like more than the Hulk. He's just always been a character that I loved, and Venom was early in his career when I started reading comics. So I remember when Venom was like first introduced and all that stuff. Not trying to be that guy, but That being said, I'm more of a fan of Venom, and I'm more of a fan of Rom V, so I'm very, very excited to see what we can do with this book. But that being said, I think Donny Cates is a really good fit for Hulk with Ryan Ottley, so that could be cool. Let's see what some of y'all think. Is Venom 200 coming out anytime soon? I hope so. You remember, they got delayed again because of the paper shortage. All these shortages, I feel like half of them are made up, but whatever. Simon says, looking forward to Cates on Hulk. Hell yeah. Yeah. Tacky says, Venom 200 is coming out right after Doomsday Clock 13, so don't hold your breath. Prediction, Hulk gets a son in this new run. Son of Hulk? He's already got a son. Or two? How many sons? He's just got one, right? Just Scar, right? Scar's the only one I know of. Maybe there's another one that slipped through the cracks at some point, maybe. Big Herb says, I'm glad they're following up Cates' awesome Venom run with Rom V and Al Ewing. Me too. What I want to know is, when did comics turn into books? Like, what was the first run to become a whole book? You mean like collected? I don't know what the first collected was. Was it like something like Origin of Marvel Comics or Son of Origins? Or something? I have no idea, actually. It's bubbling. Need to change it. Anyway. Hey, what's up, Nick's Kicks and Comics? How you doing? Station to this fine-looking chat. It is a fine-looking chat. We got Red Rick, we got John Stout, we got Tacky, of course, we got Trade Paper Dad, we got TM Nerdy up in the house, Big Herm Collectibles, Mad Respect, Fable holding it down. Comics will break your heart in there. I can't wait for Rom V to be writing Venom. I agree with you, Jennifer. I think I'm just so freaking pumped. I love the character of Venom. And, you know, I love Rom V's writing, so this is a match made in heaven for me. I don't think you're really a big Venom person, right? A big Venom fan, but I know you're into the Rom V work. I don't understand the chat either. Will we get a Cosmic Hulk? Maybe. Yeah, Bueller said the Lakers game's the same time as the Blazers game. Or the same time as the Knicks game. How about that, Big Herm? Oh, sorry, Herm. Hey, somebody keep me up to date on the score of the Red Sox-Yankees game, please. I don't have it on. I should have thought ahead. I could actually literally have it on the TV in front of me right now. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there you go. Comics will break your heart. By the way, someone throw out a link to her channel. It's a great channel. You need to check it out. I am not a Venom fan, but I love Rom enough to start reading Venom. Exactly. And that's what happens, is sometimes you'll wind up going down these holes and collecting runs of characters that you would never think that you would check out because one of your favorite creators hops along. And that's the benefit of following creators over characters. I think it's real fun. Believe it or not, I've read Deadpool and Harley Quinn books I really like. In fact, I'm liking the Harley Quinn book right now. But Deadpool even at times I've liked, and it's always been weird. Redrick says, perfect change up in timing on the writing for Venom. Looking forward to it. Me too. It's 2-1 Yankees, top of the fourth. Thank you, 62. By the way, 62 Lefty Blues gave me an amazing birthday package. Sent it to the shop that I work at. And now that we're finally back here in Rockin Robbie Live, I will be showing that off tonight at the end. There you go. Oh, Nick's not a mod yet. Oh, shit. Maybe there's a reason for that, young man. Maybe there... Just kidding. And thank you, Albert, for that again. Yeah, y'all just let me know if something happens. Is Donny Cates leaving Thor soon? That's been my favorite since the beginning of 2020. I wouldn't say so. He says that he has long-term plans for Thor, but he also said that about Venom. And you can really look at it as a long-term plan, but not as long-term as I thought. I mean, back in the day, you used to have people like Chris Claremont, used to have people like Peter David. They would stay on their books forever. Dan Jurgens on Superman, forever. Chuck Dixon on Batman, forever. You don't really get that much anymore, do you? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all, everybody. Hey, Bearded Comic Bros in the house. Someone throw up a link to his channel. Why not? Bearded's going to be on the show one day. Looking forward to that. All right, it's time for... You ready for this? This is usually what we do around this time, all right? I want to look back before we look ahead. Before we look at what's coming up this week in shops and what we're excited about, I want to look back just a little bit. And I want to know, what was your favorite comic book last week? In fact, let's simplify it. What was your pick of the week? Of course, my pick of the week was The Nice House on the Lake. It wasn't just my pick of the week. It was Jay Strick's pick of the week. It was my boss's pick of the week, the guy who owns the shop. It was Jim Mint Collectibles' pick of the week. This book had the benefit, I think, of being out in a pretty solid week, but not a bunch of like super A-plus type stuff. This one really stood out. It was a great, perfectly crafted, brilliantly done first issue, in my opinion. You have amazing artwork by Alvaro Martinez Bueno and Jordi Belair on the coloring. Look at those layouts. The layouts help James Tynan's script, which is wordy. It is verbose, but the layouts, that composition helps it go right through, right across. Very nice. Big moments that breathe, that have the weight, that are designed flawlessly. The way that it tells the story through these little notes, these little glyphs, this mystery. So what this book is about, it's about this dude who has invited friends of his that are loosely connected through different social circles to a house, to vacation. It's a nice house on the lake. And for instance, we're introduced to this dude through the newest friend that he has that he's invited to this house on this vacation. And the first thing that he does is he goes, hey, how do you think the world's going to end? And so they basically, their whole relationship is seeing each other every so often, and they get back to this conversation. So she winds up getting invited. She goes up there. She knows some of these people. She doesn't know some of the others. And so it's a great way to introduce us to these other characters through her perspective. And then the dude shows up. He's like, yo, man, this is a nice house. I'm glad y'all all could make it. Y'all, you know, he gave them all like symbols and he gave them all specific names like the writer or the artist or the consultant or whatever, right? And he's like, yo, where's the steaks? Let's party. And they chilling out. And then all of a sudden their phones start going off and there's this terrible tragedy that's happening across the world where people are like dying and like their skin's melting away and like it's just crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden they're freaking out. And he's like, hey, no need to freak out. Trust me. The world has just ended and y'all are the only ones left, and enjoy the house. Catch you later. Like that's the whole first book, but it was done in such an amazing way. There's Walter right there. You just know something's up with that dude. The way it was paced, the way it used some interesting layouts. Like that's a really fantastic double page spread that also, if you notice, adds in the idea of the puzzle, right? And that's something that's going to be done here. I think there's a lot of clues. I think this is going to be a 12 issue, like almost like a mystery solved whodunit. This dude is somehow, he knows about what's going on. Is he responsible? Is he part of a society that's responsible? Is he an alien? Is he real? Is he a ghost? What's going on? Is he a demonic presence? What is up with that? And if you read the book, I want to know what you thought about it. And also, I want to know, what was your favorite comic book last week? What was your pick of the week? So let's take a look at the chat. Let's see here. Jumping back a little bit, let's see. All right, Chamorro says Swamp Thing number 4. That was my number 2. If you checked out my video, my top 10 video, I do a Jim Mint every week. It was my number 2. I love Swamp Thing. That was a great climatic connecting to the green issue. And a writer that does that well means they're going to have a pretty solid run on Swamp Thing. And plus, people whose name is Rom V have really good runs on titles that they do. Easy Reader said The Nice House on the Lake. Dominique said Nice House definitely. Reverse Amoeba says Nice House on the Lake by a mile. Incredible issue. I've read it 3 times. Hell yeah. Bearded says Nice House on the Lake seemed like a community favorite. Absolutely. Simon says, other than the obvious, Ginny Zero and The Worst Dudes were fun reads. Mad Respect says, I only read a few, but War of the Bounty Hunters was cool. Chewy13 loved Swamp Thing. Sorella says, Nice House on the, I almost said Night of the Living Dead, because I just saw some letters and I was like, Night of the Living Dead. Nice House on the Left was almost everyone's pick. It was pretty much everyone's, yeah, pretty much. Marauders was a home run for me too, but Hellions was definitely the winner. I might be a week behind. Hellions was awesome this week. That's becoming one of my favorite X-Men titles. What's up, Comics Kings? Eddie says, The Nice House on the Lake, best debut since Department of Truth. James Tynion's just killing it right now, ain't he? John says, the book was great, totally different than what I expected. Hell yeah. Simon also liked Redshift and Basilisk. See, I read Redshift, almost like a month ago. This is when we got our copies in. We ordered directly from Scout, though. So, Redshift I thought was decent. Basilisk, I liked Basilisk. I just wish it would have gotten more hooky towards the end there. I've explained my thoughts on how important it is to do an issue number 1 with a very solid hook and a very clear understanding of the concept of the story. I've rambled and ranted about that for a while now. Bonkers says, Nice House on the Lake was easily my pick of the week. Mike says, haven't read them all yet, but Nice House was a great number 1. Tomorrow says, but Nice House, Out of Body, and Basilisk were dope. Out of Body was really cool. Pete Milligan, I really liked that one. Nova 69, what's up? Your prize is on the way, by the way. Should have been mailed off last week. I like the War of the Bounty Hunters as well. Nova 69, everybody, was the 10K giveaway winner. Have fun tomorrow in Bad Signal Land. Fable's perpetually backlogged, so he'll give you his pick of the week in 3 weeks. Well, here, young man, then tell me, what was your pick of the week from 3 weeks ago? Go ahead and tell us that. I still haven't read Tankers, Moths, and Batman. Batman was good. I didn't read Moths because it's J. Michael Straczynski. It's tied into the Resistance stuff, and I have not been digging that. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. I even got an early digital copy. I was like, I'm not going to read that. Let me know if I should. As far as Tankers, I just don't pick up or read the Bad Idea books. We don't carry them at my shop. We're not on board with how they want to deal with retailers. And it sucks because I hear some really good stuff about their books. So I've said it before. I'll say it again. If they want me to cover their books here on the channel, they can send me digital copies and I'll read them. Yeah, Cullen Bunn will come with the storyline in issue 2, but the problem that I'm having here is that there is, and we were talking about this the other day, there's just more week-to-week new number 1s, new stories in comic shops than ever. Like, you would have new launches and new debuts and new indies and stuff like that. That would happen throughout the 90s and aughties, but it seems like right now there's just so many new number 1s. Every single week there's a whole shit ton of them, right? And in a market where comic books are already starting to be a bit too expensive for most people, you really got to do a hook, line, sinker on issue number 1, and that's why I am always for a little bit of a heftier price, maybe like $1 more, but a more chunky first issue that gets to it. It's the same reason why, like The Lost or the Buffy pilot, this is 2 of my favorite shows, but if you think about it, their pilots are they're 2-parters, right? Because you need to kind of get to it. And when you have the benefit of trusting someone like Cullen Bunn or trusting a company like Vault with Blue Flame, you can rest assured that if you're a fan of Cullen Bunn, you'll probably like this book because it was a good start. It just didn't, if you weren't, like if this is your first Cullen Bunn book or whatever, you may, next time it comes around, because there's so many new ones to choose from, skip out on issue number 2. So, I mean, you can really never know if a book's going to be super good until I think you get to like 3 to 4 issues. Like Nice House on the Lake, fan-freaking-tastic debut issue. The way it was crafted, the technical aspect behind it, but also just the punch of the story and the delivery of that story were top-notch for me. But how does that get followed up? How do we do an issue 2? Now, that's what we got to watch out for with Nice House on the Lake, is because what do we do with number 2? And that's going to be very difficult for Tynan and his company of artists and letterers to tackle. I think it's tougher to do an issue number 2 that's as captivating and as exciting as a really good issue number 1. Me and the girlfriend are almost through season 2 of Lost. How can so much crazy be in one show? You ain't seen nothing yet. No, I am not reviewing Black Cat tonight. I do have the Black Cats over there to be read, but I haven't gotten a chance to do them. But we will be doing that next week, is the plan. So we'll see. Cullen Bunn's coming to Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City in August. I'll tell him you said station. Yes, please do. I bet he'd be willing to come on the show sometime. Blue Flame will probably work definitely better as a trade. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, so we looked ahead, we looked back, and that was fun. Looking at what our favorite comic books were last week. It was a big week, but it had like nothing was on the level that Nice House on the Left was. Nice House on the Lake. I knew that was going to happen. That I'd say the last house on the lake or the left house on the left. Whatever. Prediction for issue 2 of Nice House. Some of them try to leave the house and whatever affected the rest of the world will hit them. It's a possibility. I also do want to notice, like, at the very beginning, when we got the main character telling us the story, we see a glimpse of where the story is going to go. I don't think it's going to stay in the Nice House. I'll tell you that. They're definitely going to be trying to leave. They're probably going to find out it's not a good idea. Some people are going to die. For sure. I'm looking forward to Jessica Cruz joining the Sinestro Corps. Is that happening? I'll check it out. Someone that used to be so fearful can now inspire fear. Interesting. That could be something cool. On my left. I don't get it. I don't get it, Missing Link. Are you trying to be like Falcon, or are you trying to say there's something on my left that's interesting? There's Junkyard from Toxic Crusaders. That's pretty dope. Oh, on the left. Because I kept doing last house on the left, Nice House on the Lake. Kind of disappointed Nice House didn't get the Strange Adventure treatment with cover quality. Yeah, I agree. But it would be $1 more, and maybe they were wondering if they didn't think, I don't know, because they do that with Rorschach. Because we got the new issue of Rorschach comes out this week right here, and it's got the nice, paper stock and cover, and yeah, last house should have, Nice House on the Lake should have had that. Now it's in my head. I'm going to keep saying last house. Nice House. Nice House. Nice House. Would you like an ice house? No, thank you, sir. I'll have a Southpaw Light. Whatever. What am I doing? Is Nice House Purgatory? That's an interesting idea. I think it's literally a nice house on the lake. I don't know, but maybe it is. Maybe they're doing some weird shit with it. What if Walter is lying about everybody else being dead and just wanted to do a Twilight episode to see how people could react? That's an idea too. Like maybe he's lying. That would be an interesting story. I think we've seen things like that before. Wasn't the cover B card stock? I believe it was, but it wasn't the main cover. I love that main cover. And you have to pay an extra $1 for it, but Yeah, I'm having problems with my vape, so I'm trying not to be too annoying with it, but it's like bubbling like crazy. What's up, Two Fat Guys? How you doing? Life House. Last House, Life House, Ice House, Nice House, Life House. All that shit and more. Hell yeah. 3-1 Yanks. Nice. War of the Worlds meets Cabin in the Woods. Might be low. I'm probably butchering that. Low Eat. We'll just say LS. What's up, LS? Man, that makes me think. When's the last time we saw S Squared? It's been a while. Hope he's all right. War of the Worlds meets Cabin in the Woods. There is some alien vibes to it. Jim's the one that actually pointed that out to me. Like I wasn't even thinking aliens when I read that. But when we filmed the top 10 video, he was like, I think he's an alien. I was like, he could be an alien. Could be. Jessica Cruz picked up the Yellow Lantern on Future State GL #1. The story will continue in GL 2021 Annual in August. Thank you for that info cycle, Simon. I actually forgot about most of the stuff from the Green Lantern Future State. I didn't really like that, but I have actually been liking the Green Lantern book. I'm really liking it. Cover A, $3.99, please. Yeah, that's how I am for the most part. Low hit. That's how Jim calls me. Okay. What's up, low hit? My book collection is vintage Marvel like Spider-Man 251, Thor 412, The Web of Spider-Man 1, Spectacular Spider-Man 1, etc., etc. Nice. What's up, Chip? Y'all crack me up. All right, we're about to take a look at what's coming up in comic shops this week. But for a more complete look at what's coming up, you always got to check out Bueller's video on Wednesday mornings, where he previews the new comics coming out the following Wednesday. And he shows you all the covers that he can find and gives you all the information that he can dare try to get put together. I heard there's an annual for Amazing Spider-Man Life Story coming out. Ooh. That's an interesting concept. Maybe do like because where did they end that? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s? I don't know, I guess they like 2020s. 2020s. In Justice League Odyssey, J-Lo, never thought I'd get to do that one again. J. Cruz died and was merged with the GL ring, but I guess that didn't matter because comics. She didn't die by the end of it. She came back because there was that weird timey-wimey shit, right? Something like that. What's up, Nick from Comic Culture? Eating dinner and cleaning up, but just wanted to say station to all you fine people. Mike's like in Proctor Valley Road. Me too. That's a good solid book. Alex Child, Grant Morrison. Gonna be a TV show. Yo, new Nightwing drops next week, right? Tom Taylor's killing it on everything. DC has been so on point with their schedule that it should be easy for me to remember this, but I'm not remembering right now. I just remember Swamp Thing's week 1. But is Nightwing week 2? That might be. Exciting. Nightwing has been dope as hell, yo. Tom Taylor's killing it. Totally killing it. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up in shops this week. And as we're going through the list, think about what you are most excited for. And even I will encourage you to pick the pick, as Bueller says. I can't wait to see if Bueller picked the pick from Department of Truth. Man, that was a lot of contention about that pick of the week from some of my friends. From Image Comics, we have Ant number 12. Ant number 12 is the final issue of Ant until Eric Larson relaunches it in August, I believe, and I'm excited. I'm actually going to give that a try and try to get into the ground floor of a new Eric Larson book, albeit a concept developed by somebody else that he bought the rights to, and now that the main story, the initial story is ended, he's kind of doing his version of it, at least as far as I'm aware. Birthright number 50. Can you believe that Joshua Williamson's Birthright has made it to issue 50? Now, I quit reading it somewhere in the 20s, not because it wasn't good, right? Not because it wasn't good, but because it got a little erratic and I wanted to get caught up in trade. So Birthright has been really solid, but it blows my mind that of all these Image books, Birthright's still trucking along and it's at issue number 50. It will soon probably surpass Saga, but this might be the final issue. I have no idea. Is it? I'm not saying it's the final issue. I haven't been reading it. Brooks reads Birthright though. Die number 17 is out this week. Geiger number 3. Exciting. I'm loving Geiger. Good Asian, number 2. Hey Kids Comics, Profits and Loss, number 2. Carmen, number 4. The penultimate issue. So there you go. 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, number 1. Okay. Oblivion Song, number 31. And that's from Image Comics. From Dark Horse, we have Black Hammer Visions, number 5. We've got Secret Land, number 1. God of War, Fallen God, number 4. That's the final issue of that one. From IDW, we got the Canto 2 Hollow Men trade paperback. We got G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 282. Sonic the Hedgehog, number 40. and TMNT 117, and a Transformers 2021 annual. From Marvel Comics, we have Amazing Spider-Man 68. Awesome. Awesome. We got Children of the Atom number 4, Conan the Barbarian 22, Excalibur 21, of course, Hellfire Gala, right? Heroes Reborn number 6, the penultimate issue. Heroes Reborn Night Gwen number 1, Heroes Reborn Squadron Savage number 1, Iron Man number 9, Spider-Man Spider's Shadow number 3, Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 13, Strange Academy number 11, nice, Web of Spider-Man number 1, it's the new miniseries, 5 issues, X-Men 21, the last issue of Hickman's X-Men book proper, until he launches Inferno, which I'm very excited about. From Dynamite, we have Dynamite Lives number 1, with a lot of covers. Lots of covers. Red Sonja number 27. Sacred 6 number 9. Sonja Versal number 4. Vampirilla versus Purgatory number 4. Vengeance of Vampirilla. Oh, that's just some extra covers. From Boom Studios, we have Dune, House Atreides. Some new printings. Yeah. And then we have Eve number 2. Magic the Gathering number 3. Mighty Morphin number 8, Oryx number 5, Proctor Valley Road number 4, the penultimate issue, the third trade paperback of Something is Killing the Children, Wind number 7. From other publishers, we got Baby Teeth number 18, we got Black Cotton number 3, we got Bunny Mask number 1, Cherry Blackbird number 1, Maniac of New York number 5, Marjorie Finnegan Temporal Criminal number 2, and Space Bastards number 6. That's what's coming out. I think kind of a light week. It seems like a week that's not that super exciting, but it still seems exciting enough. What comic book are you most looking forward to coming out this week? That's what I want to know right now. Out of everything coming out this week. And there are DC books. We'll get to that in the DC Comics sneak peek. But what are you most looking forward to? For me, if I had to pick one, is probably Geiger. Geiger number 3, I'm very much looking forward to checking that out, and Joker, because the new issue of Joker's out this week, yo. So there you go. Bunny Mask. Bunny Mask should be cool. I can't even remember exactly what the solicitation was about, but Dynamite Lives is about Ash from the Evil Dead. No, I don't know. Is it? I didn't read the first Dynamite. This is kind of like, it's kind of like their version of Marvel Zombies, right? Yeah, it is the final issue of Maniac of New York. So I'm also excited to see how that wraps up. Anthony's excited for Bunny Mask and Joker. Old Cheese says Geiger for sure. Eric says light week. X-Men 21 should be great. Andrew Nutt says Geiger and Joker are awesome. Comics Will Break Your Heart says X-Men 21. I need to see Mystique. She's going to burn that shit down. Too Fat Guy says X-Men 21 for sure. Parton says, heavy week for me, but from what I know about you, week seems light. My pick will be Space Bastards? Okay. Proctology Road? Was that some autocorrect, or did you? Joe says Strange Academy and Spider's Shadow number 3. Dominic says Night Hunters number 4 from Floating World Comics and Carmen number 4. Anthony for X-Men. Nick says Bunny Mask, Joker, and Spider's Shadow. Low Hit says Geiger and Joker for sure. Must buys for me. TM Nerdy says Marjorie Finnegan number 2 is another one I'm excited for. Reverse Amoeba says Baby Teeth, Geiger, Joker, and Rorschach. Fable's most excited for X-Men 21. Have you read number 20 yet? Because you need to. It's so freaking good. I need to see Mystique burn Krakoa to the ground. I think you're going to see her try. I don't think she'll actually succeed, but there will be an inferno. I'll tell you that. Big Herm says, Robbie, I know you've done other shows, but I'm glad you're back on Sunday nights where you belong station. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope Nimrod and Mystique come back. Also, Douchey, Xavier, and Magneto. Well, you know, Hickman's not done yet. Here's the thing, though. The way that they're soliciting Inferno, which is just a 4-issue miniseries, is this the end? Is he wrapping everything up here and then leaving? Like, we don't know what's going on yet, but we'll see. But remember, we never got the Moira book, but they have also said that plans changed at certain times about certain things. Kirby's excited to check out Bunny Mask, but also looking forward to Geiger. Fable's at least caught up on the X books. How great was issue number 20, man? Hell yeah. Scarpad's in the house. What's up, Scarpad? How you doing? I was talking to Dylan last night about getting you back on the show soon. I know he wants you on the It's Alive trilogy, I think. Just picked up the Scream set. Scarpad says, Geiger was surprisingly good. Hope it gets past the number 2 blues. See, I actually liked this issue too, just because it was able to introduce a new element, and I was disappointed at first because I was like, no, I want to know more about the glowing man and this world and all that stuff, but I feel like they did that by introducing the new characters. So that was me, but I'm liking the book a lot. So I'm excited to see what happens with issue number 3. Yo, if Hickman leaves, that would be bad. Well, Hickman, I think originally said he had like a 2 to 3 year plan. So, I mean, if you think about it, Hawks Pox plus 21 issues of X-Men plus 4 issues of Inferno, that's a 2-year plan. So, I don't know. There's a lot of setup in the future, and if anybody can wrap up all these threads in 4 issues, it would be Hickman. But I have no idea. I hope we get words. I think Inferno is going to lead to something else. It's gotta. Because if Pepe Larraz isn't doing it, it's not the finale. Trust me. Right? I hope so. Chip wants to know if Tomorrow's got that package yet. I don't know if he's still here. He is there. Yeah, I did. I opened it on the stream a couple weeks ago. Thanks so much, brother. Oh, there you go. I guess you should watch tomorrow's streams. Thoughts on Noctera? I'm loving that too. I like Noctera, but it's time to really give me something punchy to get me continued, like, more interested. I really like the concept. I really like the characters, but it's been meandering just a little bit for me. But that's something that happens to me when some Snyder books issue to issue. Not everyone. But so it just needs to pump it up. Jennifer says that maybe Hickman can finish Black Monday Murders. Yes. Or Dying in the Dead. Come on. Can we ever get Frontier? That was a book promise that I would love to get. How about Feel Better Now? You guys remember the graphic novel? Original graphic novel written and illustrated by Hickman that was like announced in like 2012? No? I would love for Hickman to finish Black Monday Murders. That book is too good not to be around. Too good. Any idea when the PCP covers are coming? Actually, we should be getting the covers this week, and then we'll be shipping them out next week. So that gives me a moment to go ahead and bring it up. But we still have copies, plenty of copies of Blood, Skulls, and Chrome #1. The PCP exclusive variant sets available right now. $24 a set. You get the trade dress version. You get the black and white edition. You get both for $24 plus $6 U.S. shipping. If you want one, email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. Then we'll send you an invoice, you pay it, and we'll ship them out. Like I said, we are expecting to get them in this week. You can request for them to be signed, and we're going to be shipping them out hopefully by next week because we got to get everybody together because some people requested the entire crew to sign it. But yeah, they should be in this week, and then they're not going to last too much longer after that. So I hope you guys like the cover. It's Jonathan Lau doing a 1973 Ghost Rider #1 homage. I know you've heard us talk about it, but we still got copies available, PCP Army. If you want to support the channel, yeah, you could do a super chat, and you could trigger a Joker video, and I can sing the Hellboy song, and YouTube can take 30%, or you can just buy something from us. Get it. On the back, it will have the Pop Culture Philosophers logo. I can't wait to show them off to you guys. And we're going to be signing them if you want it signed. And I hope somebody slabs them so that we can see like Pop Culture Philosophers exclusive on the thing or whatever. I hope someone signs one signed by me or CGC's one signed by me. Wouldn't that be cool? Signed by Rockin Robbie Billups, Pop Culture Philosophers. Why not? But yeah. Aside from your exclusive cover, what did you think of Blood, Skulls, and Chrome? I haven't read it yet. I really haven't. I just I hooked up with the Second Sight guys, and I was like, "What's coming up?" And they mentioned that they had this one that had this Sons of Anarchy kind of biker gang vibe, and I talked to Bueller about it, and Bueller's like, "Dude, that would be great to do like a Ghost Rider homage," and then so that's why we went with it. But I'll tell you what, I'll let you know what I think about it honestly as soon as I get it. I know the regular editions came out in shops this last week, but I haven't checked it out yet. And if you want the whole crew to sign it and you haven't asked yet, just email us again if you've already purchased one. And I'll be I'll be making sure that everybody's got the correct address too. So be expecting an email this week. CGC will just put a green label on it with name on cover, which is lame. Ah, that sucks. What's that, Billy? Bad trip from the hip. Systemic institutional systems of powerful narratives made up in a madman's dream. Okay. I can dig it. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we're going to be doing the DC Comics sneak peek. We're going to be talking about The Conjuring and a non-spoiler review of the new Conjuring film, The Devil Made Me Do It. And we will be revealing the Action Fest lineup. You don't want to miss that, so you know what dates to be here for what movies. Plus, we're setting up the first PCP Action Fest 2021 movie poll. We're going to have 10 picks. And you know how that goes. So it's time for a quick intermission. We'll be right back. And since it's been a while, when we get back, what am I doing right now? Okay, I'm looking. I'm like trying to like fill time as I'm looking because I haven't done this in a minute. But anyway, we're about to take a quick break. Here is the official theme song of Rockin Robbie Live. Or not, it's not the theme song of Rockin Robbie Live. It's the Robbie Rants theme song, but we don't do Robbie Rants anymore as a brand. Anyway, y'all know what song is. That was the wrong song. I have not done this in so damn long. Here we go. Here's the theme song to Robbie Rants. Welcome back, everybody, to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. I do want to say, join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, and if you're on Facebook, you might as well follow us there. We're also on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me at the Rockin Robbie. You can support the channel with a super chat by buying the PCP exclusive variant cover for Blood Skulls and Chrome number 1, or joining us over at patreon.com/PCP. Unlock exclusive content like downloadable audio versions of the weekly comic book review, usually put up before the video drops. The last couple weeks have been hectic because we had to get the new machine. But we do have the new PCP machine, so thank y'all so much for all the support. And we still got some things to do. We got 69 people in here right now. 69! So I saw some people talk about the fight, and I forgot. Is that tonight? Because I got a text from one of my work homies, and he was like, "Yo, we forgot to tell you, but we're having everybody over to watch the fight." And I was like, "Yeah, I got a live stream." But nice to know. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. That's like Floyd Mayweather, right? Or is it Merriweather? Is it that guy against some YouTuber, right? Like, what is this real? Like, is that real? I understand. Fable, at the behest of, who was that? Who was that? Y'all crack me up. Yeah. Billy says, congratulations to Rockin Robbie for 100 years on YouTube. Okay. And so does Fable. So, hasn't been 100 years on YouTube, but it has been almost 6. That's right. The 6th anniversary of PCP is coming up July 1st, and we're actually celebrating that by kicking off Action Fest 2021. So, Old Cheese says, do you give up on Ultra Mega? Yes, I did. I did give up on Ultra Mega, mostly because it was... So when you take home a stack and you got like 40 comic books to read, Ultra Megas is one of those ones where you're like, I think I get where the book's going. And honestly, I liked the first issue, but I didn't really like the second one that much. So with it being so long, it was a cut for me. But it's not that I dropped it because I wasn't intrigued by it. It's just, man, that's hard to read in a big stack. Yeah, Nick says, gently caress that like button if you haven't already. But yeah, thanks for the congratulations on 100 years. I work at a comic shop. I love it. Yeah, I gave up on Ultraman too. I gave up on Ultraman quick though. No, I didn't. Now, Ultra Mega's not bad. It's cool, but it just, yeah. 69 years on YouTube. Congratulations. 69, dudes. Oh, y'all crack me up, y'all. Y'all crack me up. All right, what's coming up here at PCP? Well, let's take a look at what's already out. I hope you've been checking out my videos with Jim Mint Collectibles. We do a top 10 comic books. Everybody was asking, where has your top 10 comic book video of the week gone? Well, I stopped doing it for a while, and then Jim had an idea that we should do ours together on his channel, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, y'all. So check us out over at Jim Mint Collectibles. The newest top 10 video is available right now. Thursday night on the show, we have Eric Palicki on the channel. He is the writer of Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists and other books, but he is also an editor, and along with Joe Corallo, edited the musical comic book anthology Dead Beats. They got Dead Beats Volume 2 right now on Kickstarter. He's coming on Thursday night to chat about it. This can be at 8 p.m. Central Time. PCP Movie Night, 9 p.m. Central Time on Friday. We're having Crew's Choice yet again for the final week, and it's Hammer Time Whole Shoes pick, and he picked Westworld, the original Michael Crichton classic. Dylan's Horror Show will roll on through on Saturday, but in case you missed it, check out our last episode, which was about The Hills Have Eyes and The Hills Have Eyes 2, the remake. Really cool stuff. This week, of course, is a full moon double feature, Creepazoids and Head of the Family. So there you go. Kirby says, I'm digging that top 10 collab with Jim. Great idea. Yeah, it was Jim's idea, and I love what Jim does with the editing. In fact, if you haven't checked it out, you definitely, especially if you're part of the PCP Army, need to check it out because I opened the video with Station, and he did something nice and special for us. Yeah, they are spoilers. The first video, I said I don't think we should do spoilers. And then it seemed like most people wanted spoilers. So we go spoilers now on it. But yeah, Lowit says, that top 10 video is dangerous. I spoiled myself in Radiant Black. Now I scroll forward on books I haven't read yet. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Chamorro Cinema with a $5 super chat says, congrats on 100 years, brother. Stacia. I don't know where this bit came from, but I'll embrace it. 100 years on YouTube, y'all. 100 years. Gotta tell you about this little man that we all know. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was brought to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon and was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters, and he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz, and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann. BPRD. Whew. That feels good. I haven't done that in so long, but I actually forgot to throw the Hellboy gif up, so there you go. Yeah, I know. 100 years. Wow, that's phenomenal. Hell yeah, 100 years on YouTube. That's going to be our new bit. You guys just, I don't know where it comes from. Who started this shit? Jay, what's up? Robbie, what are your thoughts on the new Vault book, Barbaric? Let me tell you my thoughts. I've read the first issue. I fucking love that book. Fans of Conan the Barbarian, fans of wild, rambunctious, out there, irreverent, in your face, but still kind of nuanced. You're going to want this book. It's about this dude named Owen the Barbarian. Right? We had Michael Morisi on the show, and though he had some technical malfunctions with his internet service, we still had a really good conversation with him. Owen the Barbarian, obviously a reference to Conan the Barbarian, and he's got a curse put upon him where he's immortal, but in order to stay immortal and not go to hell, he has to help every single good cause that comes across his way. So when someone needs help, he's got to help them. And he's led by this axe named Axe, who is a bloodthirsty talking axe with a face on it and everything. And he wants evildoers punished. And the more he gets blood, he drinks it. He gets drunk off the blood. And then his decision making about who is an appropriate victim gets a little skewed. The book is freaking awesome. Me and Brian have read it. We both give it an A+. A great debut from Vault. It will probably be one of their biggest sellers of all time, and it should be. Nathan Gooden does the artwork. Nathan Gooden's like the art director at Vault. You've seen a lot of his work, especially on those homage covers that they do. There is an homage cover for this one to Conan the Barbarian #1. Come on, you're going to want it. This book is fire. It's got the Rockin Robbie guaranteed seal of approval. 100%. Barbaric is the shit. Y'all need to read it. And FOC is tomorrow. So let your shop know that you want it. It's fucking awesome. I need to go ahead and let Jim know that he needs to get that book because he's going to love it. I think this will be the most well-responded to Vault book that they've ever put out. I think people are going to trip on this book. Michael Morisi, Nathan Gooden, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Barbaric, #1. While we talking about Popeyes, we had Popeyes at the shop this week. It was the best Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich I've ever had. It was like the most crunchy it's ever been. And when I'm getting Popeyes chicken, that's what I want. I want something crunchy. And I had a lot of fun with it. And now I owe Mike a Popeyes sandwich because the Lakers lost to the Suns. Anyway. Whatever. 100 years ago, Rockin Robbie reviews Classic Funnies 3, a platinum age book, no longer an yes. You're right, Tacky, and well played with your history there, brother. Hell yeah. Y'all like my new VHS collection I got behind me? This is the start of the Rockin Robbie VHS collection. I still have my copy of Richard Linklater's Suburbia somewhere, but it's a new fascination. I want to, now that I have some extra room in that studio, Studio A, which don't expect that we're not going to see Studio A again, because I love being in Studio B. But Studio A, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. You know we miss it. Anyway, we'll be back in there at times. But I have a little bit more room I can utilize in that room now, and I am going to set up a very small VHS rack. Like two VHS racks side by side, one of like movie favorites and one of horror movies. So unfortunately, they're not as cheap as they used to be. I went out thrift storing this week. Me and Jamie had a wonderful day thrift storing on Friday, but I only found one VHS worth it, and it was Dirty Dancing, and I actually passed on it because I don't really actually like that movie. So I was like, why am I going to buy it? I need movies that represent me, and so far, I think I got it. I got Batman, Superman 4, Quest for Peace, which I can't wait to have Ibrahim Mustafa meet him in person so that he can be there. I got Princess Bride. I got Neverending Story. I got E.T., Ghostbusters 2, need a Ghostbusters 1, and Adventures in Babysitting, and like Volume 6 of He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Like, come on, y'all. I'm fully committed to He-Man. Y'all just wait. I got some plans for the set involving He-Man. Pain don't hurt when baby's in the corner. Well, I said this the other night on the Long Kiss Goodnight stream, but I was like, if I'm going to pick a Patrick Swayze movie, it's not Dirty Dancing, it's going to be Roadhouse for sure. Roadhouse on VHS, I will definitely pick up if I ever see it. Oh, yeah, I love going to thrift stores. You can find movies there. I like buying a lot of books from thrift stores. I don't usually buy a lot of clothes from thrift stores because it's just like old dude clothes, and it just, I don't know. Department of Truth next issue. Cole Turner goes after Robbie, the man who believes VHS are better than Blu-ray. No, I don't think they're better than Blu-ray. No. I'm all about the high def, baby. But I'll tell you this. One thing that can be said about VHS, and the main reason to collect VHS is just how badass those covers are, and we're in this nostalgic thing for the VHS store, right? And so whenever I see that someone has one of those racks set up, I get really into it. And I was gifted these. Movies, and really happy that I was. The never-ending story. Where's the VHS for the Highlander and Howling? Bruh, if I could find them, I'd get them. If they were cheap enough. I ain't going to pay like ridiculous collector's prices for this shit. I don't do that necessarily with my toys and my comics, so I'm definitely not going to do that with VHS. But high def is the way. But what I was trying to say was some movie, especially horror movies, their effects will look better on VHS because it's not high def and it can look more real and more gross and more grotesque. But I really like the high def too. But sometimes you see the man behind the curtains. Like when you watch Friday the 13th, Tom Savini's a genius. But you can see a lot in high def that you weren't, and like they didn't know you would see that. But that being said, high def should accurately represent, the movie experience, right? The film experience, at least to a point, I guess, but it's not always the case. That moment, James, and Stranger Things is one of my favorite bits ever, is the whole never-ending story thing. If I had to pick one movie to represent the 80s, which one would it be? One movie to represent the 80s. Well, you could say a lot of things. You could say Wall Street. Ooh, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? You could say Night of the Comet. That would be a good one, I think, to represent and encapsulate the 80s. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, maybe a little bit too early in the 80s, though. Need something a little bit later, maybe something in the 90s that would accurately represent the 80s. But if I had to pick one movie to encapsulate what the 80s represented to me in movies, I would probably go... This is tough. I got one on my head. I gotta think about this one. This is a good one. I want to say something that's on my list tonight, but I don't want to drop it if that's the thing. One movie could encapsulate the 80s. It might be my number one tonight on my top 5. But another one I think would be Back to the Future. Science fiction, popularized, stars, not action stars, but stars. I mean, but there's so many different aspects. Like to be honest, like Rambo can encapsulate the 80s to a point. Wall Street actually was I kind of said that to be funny, but that's a good representation of the 80s. That corporate greed, greed is better. Money is more. Ooh. If I had to pick one movie to encapsulate the 80s, that's a tough one. That's a really fucking tough question. One movie to encapsulate all of the 80s. All? I mean, I've already... Wall Street, I'll just give you a list. Wall Street, Night of the Comet, Back to the Future, Gremlins, Karate Kid. Right? Seriously, Bloodsport, Rambo 2. Yeah, let's just say those. What do y'all say? Here we go. Lohit says Breakfast Club. That's a good one. Ed says Goonies. Lohit says Nightmare on Elm Street. E.T. Wow, that's a good one. I really like Breakfast Club's a good one too. I mean, that is a really good one. KR, Bloodsport, 48 Hours. Yeah, Breakfast Club is a great choice. I'm ashamed I didn't say it. Bill and Ted, Mike. Fuck, why did I say Bill and Ted? I think on tomorrow show on Wednesday, it's the film and movie one, right? And I think they're going to be talking about trilogies because I'm in this group chat now, and I just love being in these group chats because sometimes, I mean, I literally always read everything. Like, I'm that dude. It's the way I do social media. Like, I read, but I rarely interact, like, for some reason. But they were talking about the best movie trilogies, and nobody said Bill and Ted. And I was like, come on, y'all. It's Bill and Ted. It's Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted, Matrix, Evil Dead, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. Anyway. Risky Business. Yeah, that's a good one, John. Back to the Future. Valley Girl. Yes. Batman 89. Okay. Fable says Back to the Future, definitely. Yeah, Back to the Future for sure. That's a good one. Short Circuit 2. Yeah. Porky's. Yeah. From our good buddy who did... I thought about Buckaroo Banzai. Who was that? I saw it just now. Brother Joe, I thought about Buckaroo Banzai. That's one... Tonight we're doing my top 5 movies of 1984. So maybe some of these movies are going to be mentioned on that list. Revenge of the Nerds, hell yes. Days of Confused represents the 70s. And it was made in the 90s. So easy reader, you're confusing me. Paul says Desperately Seeking Susan. Scarface. Top Gun. Ugh. Police Academy. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back for me. Does that represent... It does represent the 80s. It represents like... some 80s decade a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Trading Places. Big Trouble in Little China. Taki says, yeah, Top Gun, great soundtrack. A better soundtrack than movie, in my opinion, but that's just me. Aliens, hell yeah. the first Bill and Ted movie is an 80s movie. And so it more accurately represents like some of the 80s shit. Like these dudes were into bands like Poison, you know, and Motley Crue and shit like that. So now Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is 91. So that's a little bit more 90s, but I think Bill and Ted is definitely more representative of the 80s than the 90s. But decades bleed into each other. The late 70s and the early 80s are kind of almost indistinguishable in style. Like whether it's the pop culture of the time or just the aesthetic. Same thing with the late 80s and early 90s. So you can see that that's kind of, so it's a weird thing because it's not just a clean cut. Like there is always a change of style like every 10 years or so. There are definitive changes that you can see, right? But it's not always just aligned right with the turn of the new decade. So like for instance, like the late 70s and early 80s to me are pretty much indistinguishable. And I think the same with the 80s, late 80s and early 90s. But the late 90s and the early 2000s, that's like one generation too. You know, the new metal age, the Matrix age, shit like that. So, hell yeah. All right, now it's time for, let's look ahead. We're talking about comic books. That was a great discussion. That was really good. So thank you for that question. But now it's time for the DC Comics Sneak Peek. There's some real good DC books this week. Let's talk about them. First of all, from DC Black Label, we got Rorschach, number 9. Loved it. Didn't structurally like amaze me and wow me like the previous issue, but it does have some really interesting structural things that are being done with the story and the art and how you can really help make a police detective procedural, just the unraveling of a mystery, finding out a mystery, how you can make it exciting artistically and structurally and through the pace. Tom King is a writer who writes for craft, and when he's teamed up with an artist like Jorge Fornes and Dave Stewart, they just knock it out of the park. You start getting very clear understandings of the motivation behind the presidential or the assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. This is a great book that is tied into The Watchmen, but doesn't feel like it's burdened by what came before, but that it uses it as an interesting exploration on comic books, on comic book creators, on comic book creations, and on fanaticism, and a lot of different things, including some philosophical type ramblings. Rorschach number 9, super solid. Very good book. Then we got DC Pride out this week. Of course, June is Pride Month, so happy Pride Month, everybody. Station. So this book is celebrating a parade of LGBTQIA plus characters by creators that are also LGBTQ plus. Okay? So you've got James Tynion doing a Batwoman story. That was dope, especially if you've been a fan of the Batwoman run. Kay Kane's story over the last like 10, 15 years. You're going to love this, right? Vita Ayala does a Renee Montoya question. That was great. Steve Orlando does one that's got Midnighter and Hellblazer in it. You know, John Constantine. Mariko Tamaki does the Poison Ivy Harley Quinn one, and that was pretty decent. That was all right. Then we had Sam Johns do He's the Light of My Life. What was that one? Oh, that was the Alan Scott one. I really like that one. It's this conversation Alan Scott, newly out, Alan Scott has a conversation with his son about all that, and they have an estranged relationship. Cena Grace had Be Gay, Do Crime. That was, what was that one? Oh, that was the, there's a character that I didn't know. No, that's the Pied Piper one. That was actually pretty decent. Danny Lore does the Jess Chambers Future Flash, so that's neat. And then Date Night is one, Nicole Maines. That one was introducing into the comic books a character from the Supergirl show, Dreamer. I am not familiar. And then the last one is Love Life, and that was a neat little bit with the JLQ, Justice League Queer. So it was interesting. But actually for a celebration issue, it had some really good stories. It had some okay ones as well. But overall, it was a pretty fun celebratory type issue. And I like DC's actually doing anthologies really well right now. And speaking of which, there's Batman Urban Legends number 4. Yo, let's just be honest. The Chip Zdarsky, Eddie Barrows, Marcus Toe, for instance, in this one, that Red Hood story, that Batman Red Hood story is worth the price of admission alone. Then you got a great grifter story by Matthew Rosenberg. So in this one, we revisit the death of Jason Todd and the emotional effects on the relationship strain that had on Batman and Jason and where that went later on. Chip Zdarsky's doing great work. I've said this before, I'll say it again. He understands the legacy of these characters, the legacy of these books, how cheesy, how melodramatic they were, and he knows how to embrace that, but still make it feel fresh and updated. So that's great. The Grifter story is great, and I don't really like to spoil things, but let's just say this. Zealot, is that enough? Zealot got me super excited. There's what's that first story? The second story in here. It's a Batwing story. It's all right. It's pretty decent. But then there's a Tim Drake story that was decent, but I'm just excited. My boy Tim Drake's got a little bit of a spotlight. So Batman Urban Legends, pretty solid yet again. Scooby-Doo Mysteries, number 3. This is doing exactly what this promises. It's an all-ages book. Batmans from different eras. They work. It's goofy. It's silly. It's fun. If you like the Batman 60s stuff, if you love that Batman Scooby-Doo, I had that shit on VHS and I wore it out. In fact, that's a VHS I got to get, right? Because apparently I'm already building a family section. But Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries is always fun. This is a little bit of a Two-Face yarn, and it's got Ace the Bat Hound in it. And so Ace and Scooby kind of team up, and that's cool. Challenge of the Super Sons is here with issue number 3. Really like this issue. Really loving this flashback, looking back at the era of the Super Sons when Jonathan Kent wasn't aged up and him and Damian were best friends. They went on exciting, crazy adventures. This one involves Vandal Savage and Felix Faust and this timey-wimey type adventure, and I just have a lot of fun with it. So Challenge of the Super Sons continuing to deliver what fans of the Super Sons like, and it just feels so bad that we are cheated out of this. Like, we should have had years of books about Damian and Jonathan's relationship being so close in age, but whatever. Batman the Detective is here with issue number 3. Loved this issue. It's an Elseworldsy type tale. It's about an older Batman who's given up on Gotham, realized I'll never clean up Gotham, so I'm just going to go globetrot. And it's a throwback to those globetrotting Batman adventures of like the 60s and more so in the 70s, right? And it's dealing with Henry Ducard and giving us a new spin, a new take on their interaction and how Ducard trained him and why it fell flat and what happens in the future. And it's really great. Tom Taylor doing a great job with the story, with the characters. It's got a great pace to it. It's just fun. It's a book. I mean, we've told stories like this very much before, but this one just has a sense of freshness about it. And Andy Kubert is just doing a magnificent job of doing this more hardened Batman. I'm loving it. So Batman the Detective number 3. And this is, why is it called The Detective? Because this is the story of how Batman became the great detective and some really interesting things. But I will say that the ending of this leads in a little bit to this book, Detective Comics 1037. These two books kind of have almost the same plot right now, or at least the same plot twist that's going on. And like I said, I don't like to spoil things, but it's like, what if Bruce Wayne was accused for murder? By the way, Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker did that. It was called Batman. It was called Bruce Wayne Murderer, Batman Fugitive, and that shit was awesome. And it was the big finale of their runs, and you should definitely check that out. But first of all, I just want to highlight that amazing cover by Dan Mora. It's a beautiful cover. This was a great issue. It doesn't have artwork by Dan Mora. It's got artwork by Viktor Bogdanovic, and it actually works. It's a different style than Mora, but it's still like lends itself to really, and maybe it's because we have Belair here, but we also have Glapion, right? Who was the colorist on all of it? I really like this issue, and this was probably one of my favorite issues of the detective run so far, as far as the story goes. Now, the artwork, not so much. Yeah, you actually have, Jordi Belair still doing the coloring, so it's tying it all together. You got 2 backup stories in here. They were all right. One of them is a next Batman story, right? No, that's in another book. What book is that in? That was in Batman Detective. At the end here, you got a John Ridley, Oliver Copiel, next Batman story, black and white. That was pretty cool. So this one's got 2 little backup stories. One is pretty decent. It's by Marika Tamaki and Carl Mostert. It's tied into the main story. Then you got a John Ridley, Dustin Nguyen story that's kind of set more in the past, and that was really cool. But I really like this. I like what's going on in the Batman books right now. Detective's blowing me away. And even though Dan Mora wasn't on the artwork, I still felt like it was nice. Except for the last page, I thought Victor didn't do so good of a job on that one. However, Future State Gotham is here with issue number 2. I'm liking it. Going back to the Future State Magistrate Gotham world. This book's got distinctive vibes of like Akira. It's black and white, but it's cool. It's about the Red Hood. He's been asked by Bruce to infiltrate the magistrate and become a peacekeeper, and that's what he's doing. But the Bat family doesn't realize that. They think Bruce is dead, and so you got all of that kind of going back and forth. But books like this one, and along with Batman Urban Legends, they're turning me into a Red Hood fan. And of course, Jeff Johns started that with 3 Jokers. Wonder Woman 773, it ends this whole Valkyrie, Norse mythology, Wonder Woman thing. Wonder Woman, quote-unquote, died at the end of Death Metal. She was offered the chance to be like one of the quintessence or whatever. She said no. Now she's lost in the sphere of the gods. This ends that first story. She's lost in Valhalla. And it ends it in a really great way. I love this book. I love the story. It's got a nice pace to it. It doesn't it's not too brisk. It's not too quick. It's got some meat and some density to it. The backup story, I just really don't care for that much. But Travis Moore's artwork with Tamara Bonvillain's coloring is amazing, and it does wrap up the whole Norse thing and set up what's to come, and it does it in a really excellent way, so Wonder Woman's pretty solid. Justice League, The Last Ride, #2, Chip Zdarsky, doing a book about the Elseworld is the rumors. So we found out at the end of Death Metal that there is Earth Prime and there's the Elseworld. And there's something very important about this Earth. And in this Earth, the heroes lost. Justice League got completely lost, and Batman's like responsible for the death of Martian Manhunter, and Bruce and Clark aren't speaking anymore. And in the last issue, we saw like that, but now we're seeing why. This big battle with Darkseid, right? And like I said, there's rumors that this is the Elseworld. And if this is the Elseworld, that means that this is very important to what's coming up in things like Infinite Frontier, okay? So pay attention to this book. This issue was great. I've said this before tonight. Chip Zdarsky understands the legacy of these characters. He knows these characters. He knows how to tell a story that's an Elseworld story. It doesn't have high stakes. It feels like it does, and that's what's exciting to me. But in this one, you see what exactly happened, how the Justice League kind of got on the road to being just broken apart and their relationship shattered. And then it gets back to the story where they're trying to take Lobo to a place to keep him safe, and it's Apocalypse. And it's the way it works together. This was just a great book. Great art, pretty solid stuff. And then finally, let's talk about The Joker. The Joker, #4. This is one of DC's best books. Now, Gilliam March has been doing an amazing job on the artwork. Usually, I think his art's a little bit rushed. It feels a little bit more rushed here. Obviously, though, he's got a lot going on, but still, that aside, it was fantastic on the story. This is more so a Gordon book and Gordon's relationship with the Joker. He's hunting Joker down for this organization, and this one you got Bane's Vengeance, which is this new woman who has taken on Bane's mask, and since Bane has quote-unquote died, I don't really believe that, right? I think he's behind a lot of the stuff involved in here, including A-Day. But this was a really fun issue. It hits that deep character study on Gordon that we have gotten accustomed to in a very detective noir type way. But at the same time, it's a little bit more exuberant and flamboyant and a little bit more action-packed with a lot of Joker action. So Joker continues to deliver. The backup story of the punchline was all right, and that is your DC Comics sneak peek. So hey, how are y'all doing? Yeah. What's next? All right. I'm going to flip back just a little bit and look at some comments. Let's see. Robbie, Catwoman, the Soul Stealer, and Poison Ivy Thorns released this week? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't been reading those graphic novels. Yeah, congrats on 100 years on YouTube tomorrow. You look like reality had been broken when Jim put Crime Syndicate in his top 10. KR, the funny story is like, a lot of that is a bit, but I really hate that fucking book. I think that book is so terrible. And so when Jim put it on his top 10, I'm like, bruh, but it's okay. That's the thing is me and Jim are different readers, but we agree a lot and sometimes we don't. And that's what's great about comic books. That's what's great about fiction and pop culture is that we can have these conversations. And I appreciate what Jim likes about the book, and I think one of the reasons why I don't like it is I think I just have more experience with the Earth 3 Crime Syndicate world, so to me, I'm like, I've seen it done better. But for someone like Jim, maybe he hasn't. I don't know how familiar he is with these characters. I don't know if he's read Forever Evil, and I don't think he's ever read the stuff from the Silver Age with them. And, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he never read the Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely one. And that's just because it's just not his wheelhouse, and that's fine. But I hate that fucking book. But I love talking comics with Jim. He's one of my favorites. What is Doug Monkey working on right now? He was on something not too long ago, but I can't remember what it was right now. Man, tomorrow, why are you doing the fucking Enterprise theme song? Jesus, bruh. Tacky says, I would just like a Red Hood title again. Stupid B-sides. This may outsell the Red Hood book. So, that's probably why. Yeah, me and Jim got to agree on all books? Nah, that's not the case. Jim doesn't get my fascination with decorum, for instance. Make a bet with Jim with the loser shaving their face. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to shave my face. That's ridiculous. I did that one time and everybody was like, what the fuck happened, Robbie? Decorum, Nick, is a simple story told in a complex way. So, just saying. All right, before we got some business to get to. So first, I want to say, anybody a fan of The Conjuring? Did anybody watch The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, in theaters now on HBO Max? I did. It was my Sunday morning smoke a bowl, watch a movie, and now it's time for my Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It movie review. No spoilers, but here we go. Here's the review. So the third part of the Conjuring movies are here. Now, obviously, this has been spun out into other franchises like Annabelle. They did the Nun movie. There's the la 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 blah 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 one. I don't know. The director of that one did this one. So yeah, James Wan didn't do this one. So I love the first Conjuring movie. I think the ending's a little bit cheesy with its Care Bear stare. I actually am not a fan of the second one. I watched it for the first time this week, so I could at least be ready to go into The Conjuring. Devil Made Me Do It, even though it's a standalone type film. You don't have to watch the other movies. It's about the Warrens. I know Ed and Lorraine Warren. I've been, I wouldn't say fan, but I've been aware of their work throughout pretty much all of my life. And this is the one about the demonic case that shocked America. It's The Devil That Made Me Do It. It's about the kid who was possessed by a demon, allegedly, and the demon goes into his sister's lover or something, and he kills this dude, and it was like, I think, the first time in America where they used the not guilty by demonic possession kind of thing. So that's what it is. So it's about the Warrens, and, Vera, I can never remember her last name, whatever. Vera and Patrick, I know them, so I'm on a first name basis with them. They do a fine job with doing what they do with the Warrens in these movies. They've never been the most compelling characters to me, whether in real life or in fiction, so it just didn't really quite work for me. Like, it's just, this movie was it was okay. It wasn't a bad movie. It had decent performances. So it's about the kid David, 8-year-old kid possessed by a demon. That sequence is pretty gnarly, so that was pretty well done. And then, like I said, I think the brother or his sister's lover kind of invites the demon into him, and then he kills this dude, and then the whole thing is about the Warrens trying to prove that this dude was possessed by a demon so that he can get off of like a death sentence, right? But The Conjuring, The Devil That Made Me Do It. So I thought it was okay. Like, it didn't wow me. It didn't blow me away. There are people I know that are way bigger fans of the Conjuring movies. There are people I know that are way bigger haters of the Conjuring movies. The way I say it is, I really like the first one. I give that 4 you digs. I don't really like the second one. I would give that 2.5 you digs. This one, I would probably give a 3 you digs. Like, I like the movie. I'm not mad that I watched it, but it didn't wow me. It didn't have as many technically crafted great moments of scaredom, which as much as I don't really like the second one, like, and here's the thing, structural wise, what I didn't like about the second one is it took forever for the Warrens to get involved in the story. Now, they kind of did that with The Conjuring, the first one, but it was paced a little bit better, and it was a very effective story about this family. I didn't care as much about the family in part two, and it took too long for the Warrens to get involved. And if they wanted to focus on the idea of them becoming famous, like, let that be the focus, right? That being said, the nun in that one was crazy. But the movie was rather long and boring. This one comes in just under 2 hours, so it's not long. It's actually got a good pace to it. It doesn't feel laggy to me. And it doesn't necessarily feel boring to me. But I've just never been that entranced with the Warrens as fictional characters. Like, their cases are interesting enough. And this, of course, is one of their most well-known cases outside of, say, like the Amityville stuff, right? And regardless of what you think about, I mean, we're talking about horror ghost fiction, right? And it doesn't have as much craft as one does, or even parts of two, but it's more entertaining, and they get to the story a little bit quicker, in my opinion. They get to things better. It's got more of a ... There's one character in there who's like an old priest that they have to go to for advice, and this may be slight spoilers, I guess, but when they first meet him, he's just got these eggs in his hands because he's like got these chickens, so he's just got these eggs, and he just goes, "Would you like an omelet?" And that's just a random thing. They're like, "Oh no, we had breakfast." And then he tried to shake his hand. He goes, "I got chicken shit on my hands." And it's just such a weird, awkward moment that is probably the best moment in the movie. Like I said, I think this is better than two, not near as good as one. It was decent. It was all right. I give it 3 you digs. If you watched it, I want to know what you thought about it. What do you give it out of 5 you digs? And no spoilers, but that was my brief review on The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm sure one day I'll have way more thoughts when we do like the inevitable Conjuring franchise night on Dylan's Horror Show or on PCP Horror Fest or something like that. But I thought it was okay. I mean, it was decent. It was solid. It just didn't wow me. It didn't be like I just watched A Quiet Place 2. I fucking loved that movie. That movie was great. I actually thought that was an improvement on the first one, because now that you got all the explanations on how they have to operate out of the way, the second one just goes, man. And I had so much fun with it, and it was tense, and it had some great scares. This one had a couple of scares. None of the scares actually got me in this one, and I don't like that. I like getting got when I'm in the theater. That's why I love watching movies with my girl Jamie, because she gets got. And when we're like holding hands, like she gets got, and that helps me get got, right? I love it. But in this one, we didn't really get us, you know, and it was okay. It's how many times can you do this demonic possession type thing? And the only interesting thing was the spin on the trial, but maybe that should have been the focus. You know, the focus is on them trying to unearth this other stuff. And yet again, I'm tired, and I understand that this is right in the root, right, of satanic panic, right? Which is something they've been talking about in Department of Truth. But like, I do get tired of the occult being misrepresented in such a nefariously evil kind of way. But at the same time, I can embrace it in certain movies like Evil Dead. Hell yeah, let's resurrect a demon and cause a bunch of armies of deadites come out. Blah, 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 blah. But this one, I don't know. It gets a little hokey. It gets a little cheesy. But that's something that's inherently involved in the Conjuring films. In fact, the only thing I don't like about the first one is the Care Bear Stare Jesus ending. And it's okay. I get its place. But like, there's got to be some kind of weight, something that carries itself on. Like, we got to remember, one of the greatest exorcism movies ever made is The Exorcist, and that's for a reason. It has a very punchy, sad ending. Like, that priest has to take the demon in on himself and kill himself. Like, that's you know, something. And these movies kind of just breeze by, and they try to deal with some really dark, demonic type stuff, but it all ends with a nice, happy Jesus bow. I don't know. No offense to anybody, but just as far as a movie goes, like, come on. Can we have a little bit more resonating weight that goes out of this that makes me care about these characters? But, you know, it is what it is. So, let's see. Vera played an incredible Norma Bates. I hear that. I haven't watched that one at all. Eric says, every Conjuring movie since the first one has been way too showy. I wish there was more nuance and less over the top creepy moment. The first Conjuring does that so well, where it shows relatively little. It reminds me of, say, the original The Haunting, not the shitty remake with Liam Neeson, but the original one by Robert Wise, right? Wasn't that Robert Wise? That movie is fucking brilliant, and show don't tell. Not sometimes when it comes to ghost stories. And the first Conjuring, dude, the scariest fucking moment in a movie to me of the last 20 years, if not ever, is when she's looking down in that basement trying to hear, and she hears the voice, and then out from behind her, the damn fucking hands come out and clap. That gets me every time. And I'm like, hell no. Hell to the no, man. Hell to the no. Never trust an old priest with shit on his hands, says Bobby De La Ghetto. Hell, wiser words have never been said on Rockin Robbie Live. TM Nerdy gives it a 4. 4, you digs. All right. The priest makes a great breakfast. During his retirement, he worked mornings at McDonald's. That happens. TM Nerdy says it was okay. Kind of expected more. The Gift is really good. Fable gives it 3 getting gots. Tacky says it gets a -5. There is still a deficit because of The Nun. That movie did not live up to the Cates type hype. I haven't seen The Nun. I haven't seen any of the Annabelle films. I haven't seen the La 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 film. I hear that one's not so good, and that's the director of this one. No Comic 420. I did not watch your video about Care Bears. Did you watch mine? Sorella says 2.5. Get Goddeds. I got to upgrade my subscription so I can watch The Conjuring, says C3. I got to go to the theater, luckily enough. I had a terrible fucking experience there. It was my worst experience in theater in a long time, to be honest. It took forever to get my fucking popcorn. There were people holding up the fucking line at the ticket kiosk, and they left the fucking house lights on for the first 5 minutes of the film. So I'm sending them a strongly worded email. I'll tell you that. But down here in Alabama, everything's wide open. I'm vaccinated, so we're good. So we just go. And I'm happy. I'm happy to be back in theaters. So even though I've been back, I've seen 3 movies. They've all been horror films. Just last week we saw a film, as I recall, it was a horror film. We saw Spiral, Quiet Place 2, and Conjuring 3, and Quiet Place 2 by far was the best. But they were it's all fun to get back out into the theater. Oh my goodness, I've missed it so much. I've missed it so much. All right, speaking of movies, it's time for the Action Fest reveal, everybody. So don't forget that upcoming here this week, we have PCP Movie Night. And we're ending the latest direction with Cruise Choice. The final Cruise Choice is Hammer Time Whole Shoes pick, Westworld. But after that, we're taking 2 weeks off. So 2 Friday nights of no PCP Movie Night. But when we return, it's for Action Fest. So Action Fest officially starts July 2nd, y'all. And we're kicking off the 6th anniversary of Pop Culture Philosophers. And I'm very excited. So here is the reveal. The first movie of Action Fest, which will be Friday, July 2nd, is the Sylvester Stallone classic, Cobra. Love it, love it, love it. The next week, July 9th, we've got Die Hard, because we're celebrating Christmas in July, so we're doing the original Die Hard. The week after that, which will be July 16th, it's a PCP poll. It is the winner of the poll that we first come up with tonight. The week after that, July 23rd, the John Wick franchise. All 3 films. I have never seen a single one of them, and I'm very excited. And the week after that, on July 30th, we're doing another PCP Army movie poll for Action Fest. This one will be Keanu Reeves themed. So it will be a selection of Keanu Reeves action movies. So I'm very excited for that. And August 6th, we're doing the John Woo classic Face Off. And Action Fest ends on August 13th with a look at every single Fast and Furious movie Come on, y'all. So let's run through it one more again. Action Fest starts July 2nd with Cobra. Continues July 9th with Die Hard. July 16th with the PCP Army movie poll winner. July 23rd with the John Wick franchise. July 30th, a Keanu Reeves action movie poll, the winner of that one. August 6th, Face Off. And August 13th, the entire Fast and Furious franchise. All of them, including Hobbs and Shaw, of which I've only ever seen the first one. So start watching them now because you don't want to try to cram all those into 1 week unless you're that big of a fan. So, there you go. Bearded Comic Bro says, the important question is, who is the starting lineup figure behind you? Well, I've got two behind me. And in my opinion, they're the two greatest basketball players we've ever seen. Two of them. Let's show you. This one is Michael Jordan. So there you go. We knocked down the junkyard, but whatever. And this one is my favorite basketball player of all time, and it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm a big Lakers fan, and this dude and Magic Johnson are a big reason why. Like last week, I had Magic Johnson there, but when the Lakers lost, I was like, I can't do both Lakers. I don't want anybody to give me shit. So what do y'all think about the Action Fest lineup, y'all? Sox lead the Yanks 4-3 now. What's going on? God damn it. Mike Knight loves Westworld. Hell yeah. All right, now you got to get that Michael Jordan. Yeah, I love my starting lineup show. My favorite piece is up there. It's the USA Dream Team, 1992. It's got all the greats. There are moments where the Yankees are like top notch, Ryan, and then there are moments where they're just tanking. I hope that we were like, I was hoping that we were going to like start hitting some good vibes, right? Damn, they just came, they fell behind though that quick. What inning is it? Jesus. Kirby says that Action Fest lineup is awesome. All right. Thank you. So let me know what you thought about Action Fest. And right now, here's what we're doing. We got 10 spots available. There's going to be 11 total, but one of them's taken by my girlfriend, Jamie. So you have 10 spots available. First 10 movies I see are going on the PCP Army Action Fest poll as long as I approve, meaning that it's something that we haven't done already or that we plan to do or that I want to do. So throw out your Action Fest suggestions right now for a PCP Army Action Fest movie poll. Come on, y'all. We're in the 8th. We're good. So now I'm just waiting on suggestions for Action Fest. So what we want is oh, Shoot 'em Up. That's a good one. Shoot 'em Up is definitely appropriate. We have not done that movie, but it's pretty fun. It's basically a Bugs Bunny cartoon. I don't know if The Bodyguard is an action film. I'll veto that one. Aliens. Okay, that works. That is an action movie. Bloodsport we've already done. Kung Pao. Yep, that was Jamie's. Reservoir Dogs, is that an action movie? I don't think that's an action movie. Blast with Eddie Griffin? I'll have to check on that one. Last Boy Scout, that's a good one. Running Scared? Huh? Is that the Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder one? We're not doing the Three Ninjas trilogy. Highlander? Is that an action movie? I don't know. Terminator 2 is. I don't consider Highlander. I don't consider Highlander an action movie. The Great Escape? I do. That's a good one. Don't get mad if I veto. Fifth Element? That's an action movie. Low Down Dirty Shame. And Dread. We had plans to do Lethal Weapon Art School Rejects on this Action Fest, but it got changed. All right, we got some other ones. Desperado, Lock Up, Commando, Conan, The Rock, Dark City, Tango and Cash, Hard Boiled, Face Off. Face Off is on it already, CTA Frank. Oh, it's Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. Yes, okay. Gone in 60 Seconds. I love that one. All right, but we already have it. We've got the 10 right here. The 11, actually. So the 11 movies that will be on the poll, which will go up at some point this week in the PCP Army, so make sure you join the PCP Army, will be Kung Pao, Shoot 'em Up, Aliens, Blast, Last Boy Scout, Running Scared, Terminator 2, Great Escape, Fifth Element, Low Down Dirty Shame, and Dread. But you mean the Paul Walker version of Running Scared. Okay. We have to make sure that... Will we get two? Will we get two Paul Walker discussions this year? Oh, my tank is flooding. It's messing me up. Anyway, all right. So once again, let's do it. Where are we at? Once again, Action Fest starts July 2nd with Cobra. July 9th, Die Hard. July 16th will be the winner of this poll. Kung Pao, Shoot 'em Up, Aliens, Blast, Last Boy Scout, Running Scared, the Paul Walker version, Terminator 2, The Great Escape, Fifth Element, Low Down Dirty Shame, and Dread. July 23rd, John Wick. July 30th, the winner of the Keanu Reeves-themed Action Fest poll. August 6th, Face Off. August 13th, Fast and the Furious. So there you go. All right, y'all. We're taking a quick break, but when we come back, we still have lots to go because we got the top 5 movies from 1984. That's going to be a great discussion. We got Show and Tell, and we got DC in the 80s, y'all. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So damned excited. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live, Pop Culture Philosophers. All right. Can y'all hear me at all? Can you hear me at all? Anybody? Check, check, check one. Check, check, check one. Can y'all hear me at all? Check, check, check one. Check, check, check one. Can y'all hear me? Check, check. Man, I don't know if you can hear me. I hope you can. Let me know, because I can't hear me. Y'all can hear me? Okay. So, when I went to break, I spilt beer all over my mixer. And right now, I'm not hearing... Yeah, are you hearing the feedback? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Yep, I spilt beer all over my mixer. So, ooh, man, that's going to affect the rest of the show. All right, y'all. That unfortunately, we're going to have to call it wraps tonight because it looks like I'm probably going to have to buy a new mixer now. That has never happened. It just right all over. It went into everything, y'all. Jesus. Yeah, y'all hear the big crackle? Yeah, me too. I got to let this thing dry out, y'all. Anyway, it really super sucks because we had a great show. Rest up for top 5, but we'll do the rest of that next time. We'll take a look at it, y'all. I appreciate everything. I'm super sorry, but I just had a catastrophe spilling beer all over the mixer. So, damn. When it rains, it pours, right, y'all? Anyway, we're dipping out. Y'all have a good one.